Hello everybody, it's Corral Edmonds and I'm here with my third video blog. Today I will be discussing if the tech pioneer Steve Jobs met her. Just for a quick background, her is a computerized woman who is matchmaked with a man and together they fall in love. Most people know who Steve Jobs is, but if you don't, Steve Jobs was actually the creator of Apple products. So Apple meaning, the iPhone, Macintosh, all that stuff. He was actually fired from his company and then rehired because he was the face of the company and they did thrive with him. Unfortunately, Steve Jobs passed away a couple years ago, but he is still a well-respected name within the Apple community. So the first question that I would like to answer is, what would Steve Jobs think about her? So I personally think that he would be very impressed with the idea of her. He was someone that was geared towards electronics, iPods, phones, tablets, computers, and the whole thing about Apple is they want people to feel like their life will not be complete without Apple. A slogan that they had for a couple years is changing the world again, or changing the world. And I feel like her would change the world. It would help people that aren't as social, or don't really like going out, don't really like being around other people, still have a way to find love. So I'm sure Steve Jobs would be very impressed with her and would actually probably have his own version of it for Apple, being so that they are very innovative and always try to stay in the most current things. I think he would be a great thing for he would think that it would be a great thing for the community, for people, and then it would just be another way to change the world. So the next thing I would like to discuss is how Steve Jobs would view this, having her, how it would affect the future. So I think that he would agree that this would be inevitable, and this is something that we are 100% going to see in the future to come. In recent years, we've seen a lot of matchmaking websites and people going online to find love. We've also seen people have more of an attraction to their cell phones and their tablets and their iPads and their technology more than human people. People are very, very in love with their phones and their devices, and it's almost like they feel kind of like um, they feel obligated to give these things attention. You go out to eat, you go to the movies, you go to school, you see people with their devices in their face, and half of the time they don't even want to talk to other people. People younger than me in earlier generations. Um, or newer generations are very, very drawn to their devices, and it kind of messes up their social communication skills. So I would say this is definitely inevitable with the way that the trends are going, that in the future we will see more people reaching out to matchmaking sites and being open to having a computerized partner or girlfriend or boyfriend because it just might be easier to them. Back in the day, people would only like talk to people face to face or write letters, and then it went on to texting and calling, and now it's almost impossible to just talk to somebody, just one-on-one conversation. It almost seems like communicating through the device is the easiest way and more comfortable way for a lot of people. I also personally believe that Steve Jobs would not dismiss this as a science fiction movie, or science fiction future, only because there has been proven facts that people need other people to live. That it's a fact that you can't go years and years and years and just be alone. So with that statement, it doesn't have to be a human. It can be an object. It can be a TV show. It's just people need something to talk to, and I think that her, as smart as she was in the movie, and she was able to communicate full sentences and have emotions, I think that's suffice enough to be as equivalent to a human. So I don't think it would just be a scientific future, and I think Steve Jobs would agree that it's very practical and it will be inevitable moving in the future. Like I said, we have a lot of things that are actually moving towards that direction. Matchmaker.com, blackpeoplemeet.com, Christian Mingle, even social media networks like Facebook and Instagram where people are meeting on a daily basis. And at first, the communication starts with just messaging or instant messaging, videoing, Skyping, and then they meet in person if they like. There's also people, we all seen catfish. There's also people that just talk to people for years and years on end through the computer, and they're completely happy with their relationship. At one point, they eventually want to meet the person, but some people don't. Some people can go on for years and years and years to just have an internet or computer relationship and be completely content with their love life. So now I would like to discuss some of the pros and cons of her. I would say the pros would be that people will be able to have a companion regardless to their social skills. They'll always have somebody in their pocket or to their side. Some people are little weird or uncomfortable with their sexuality. This way, it would be a completely private thing. I would say some of the cons would be that it would definitely go backwards in our progress as far as communication with others. We see a lot today that younger children have problems with communicating because they're so tied to their devices. So this would make it um, even more harder for them to to create communication skills. It will also keep very people very sheltered, and also if for any reason there was anything abusive or anything that other people need to know about in their life, this would kind of put their life in danger because they're communicating with a computer that can't really help them as much as a therapist or a real person can. So they're looking to for a computer for advice, and a computer doesn't have real emotions like a person. So I guess this would be a con because they would be getting advice back that wouldn't be 100% helpful to their situation. Talk about the movie, her specifically, and how from the movie and the background and the characters, we can see that this might be something in the near future. For one, the main character had AirPods or like cordless headphones. So they were headphone pieces that had no cords. And that's something that we've seen in the recent year or two. We've also seen a lot of smartphones, a lot of technology. The elevators were very smart. The background, there was a lot of people at beaches and places, and people getting to work through trains and other things that were of the nearer future. So basically, it looks like the movie was filmed in modern day. So, with that being said, now we could assume this would be in the near future because the movie is not a thing of the past. It is something of the future. The technology is a little better. The phones are faster. Everything is smart. So I think, and where we are today with technology, it looks like they're not too far behind from the movie and today. So that's why I would say that this is something of the near future, or at least the people that put the movie together wanted people to think that this was something of the near future. I think if Steve Jobs met her, he'd be very impressed. He would probably come out with his own version of her. He would think it was world changing. He would think it was iconic. He would definitely think it's something inevitable, and I think he would want to be first, someone that would be first as a technological pioneer to add this to his company if he was still alive. I think it is very practical. I think there is a lot of pros. In the movie, the guy was antisocial. I think this would be great for someone that's antisocial, people that aren't comfortable with their sexuality, people that just need a friend. So I think this is something that will happen in the near future, and I don't see many cons with it. Even though people will go backwards as far as communicating, and there might be limited to good advice, I still think that it will be very beneficial to our future, and we will see more of versions of her and soon.